what is going on. It is Monday. Let me get this together. Yeah. Yeah, man. So let me see if I can move it over a little bit. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, man. So it's Monday. Let's see. All right. Yeah, cool. So happy Monday out there, everybody. Hope everyone is doing good and great and amazing. We're out here. You know how it is. It is Monday. Back to the grind. Woo, and for me, very, very close to being back to the grind. But another day. We are alive. We're breathing. We are here. I hope everyone had a cool weekend and all of that good stuff, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get straight into it. So let me move my water. So today we are talking about living in your truth and surrounded by lies. We're talking about living in your truth and being surrounded by lies. And we take in, if you scroll social media like I do. Some of it I scroll quickly if it doesn't interest me, but it's we are we're at the point where we consume a lot of information. Then AI is down here, so we are consuming a lot of information really, really, really fast. Sometimes you gotta slow down a little bit. But the important thing is that moving forward in your life is that you are now, you're walking in your truth. If you have anything of a if you have been chosen for anything in your life, you feel like you're just different. If you really feel like you are different in your life, and you look at other people, I don't know. I've looking back, I've been different all my life. I yeah, I've been different since I was a kid, man. And for me, I'm not going to apologize for that anymore. If you are, what's going on, Miss Sweet? How are you? Yeah, it's Monday. It is Monday. But yeah, so if you are like myself, if you are someone that you feel like you've always been different, you've thought different, you've done things different, you are an individual that you see people and who they are in their capacity, and they look at you strange, like you're the, I don't know, you know like you're the enemy for whatever reason, you know what I mean. And that's just not the case, man. You were made different, you were branded different, you were placed here to do something extraordinary. Sometimes it takes us a while to figure out exactly what that is. Like really and truly, it took me a while to figure, to and I'm still figuring it out. I am. I'm still figuring out. I'm very thankful that I have, this thing called spirituality, that is the word that we use to put all of this into like a nice, whatever. But I'm glad I have that. I'm glad I have manifestation and prayer, my ancestors, my angel guides. I'm glad I have God, over me in my life, and, a partridge in a pear tree. So we have a lot of power. Right. We got a lot of power around us and within us to go forth and just do some amazing things. But today we are talking about walking in your truth. Talking about walking in your truth and being surrounded by lies. Because, people will. I remember one young lady told me, I was at some job, and she was like, "Well, basically you have to conform. You have to change who you are. And I said, man, no way in hell. Well, needless to say, I wasn't at that place too long. I was younger, I was, yeah. But anyway, yeah. But she told me that she was like, yeah, you have to change who you are to fit in here. And I'm like, that ain't happening. I will come in and do my job and this and that, and but nope, I am not conforming. That is not. That is not happening. But you walking in your truth gives you the freedom to be who you are. If everybody else around you wants to walk around and live in, everybody else around you wants to walk around and live a lie, that's them. Okay. Everybody else wants to walk around and live in a lie and conform to society and this or that. We have the power and the ability to bend this to our whim. That's no. So we have the power. We have the power within us. And I think that's where a lot of people fear. A lot of people fear. No, a lot, a lot of people fear you, and that's where a lot of the misunderstandings come in, and that's where a lot of the misunderstandings come to pass. And people may never know everything about your journey. They don't have to. If this is all that they see, and if they look at you and they say that just there's something special about you. There's something unique, or there's something different about you. Something like you're very pronounced when you go places. You stand out. Somebody told me this a while back. It's like when you go places, people, and I noticed this, people, they always look. It's like you have, it's like the French say, the je ne sais quoi. You have this appeal about you. You do. You have this radiance. Something that just uh that either irks their demons or draws people in. And that's the thing. You're going to be, you're going to be just drawing the most amazing people. Like, people, sometimes I'm just in places, people just walk up to me, and I'm just sitting there minding my business. People just start talking, and they'll just tell me about they just start telling me about their life and all of that stuff, and about, they just start talking. And I just found it to be so interesting. And I just play along, man. I really truly do. I just play along. But that is just a part of being who you are. That's just a part of living in your truth. You wonder, like, sometimes, I used to think, like, man, how do I use these spiritual gifts? Because, well, I'll say a few of us have multiple gifts, and I'll just leave that at that. So, and one thing about your gifts is, like, they're always there. They're always turned on, and that's the most amazing thing about it. And thank you all so much for joining me on this Monday. And don't forget to subscribe, folks, wherever you are. But that's the beautiful thing about your journey and your gifts, is that, so they're always there. They're always magnificently turned on, even when you may not be aware. It's like being, it's just like in your being, and this is just a part of your truth. This is just a part of who you are, and what you have, and all of that good stuff. Let me see if I can fix this thing. Nope, don't want to do that. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, and that's just a part of, that's just a part of who you are, and that's a part of what you have. And there's really and truly no denying that. You can see people for, if you've been on your spiritual journey, and you understand what discernment is. People, some people might call it a hunch, or your gut feeling, or I don't know. Some people say it's the Holy Spirit, or your ancestors, however it is that you call it, you have this spiritual aura, and if anybody comes within, I don't know, um, a distance of that, you can really tell who they are, by just them being in their in your presence, and also vice versa. People can, people can look at you and they can tell, man, you know what? There's something, I don't know, there's something about this individual. Like they will watch you. They will watch you and they will like, man, what is this person? What is this person going to do next? What interesting or amazing thing is going to happen, in their life. And they like people will really, they will try to watch you, they will try to study you. Some people will try to mimic you, they will try to become you. I don't know, I've heard this thing about, destiny swappers and all of that stuff, but nobody can really steal your destiny. That's yours. That's purposeful. That's powerful. People, I used to look at people when I was very young and naive, and you would think they were so cool and this and that until till your gifts kicked in and you saw them for who they are, or they plateaued in life, and that was it. That was all. But for you, you you keep growing. You keep for you, you keep growing. You keep giving. You keep manifesting. You keep doing these. You do what is deemed the impossible. They're having all these floods out here now. It's like your area floods. You're like your whatever your house, wherever you stay. You're on vacation somewhere, some island or something, or some business trip. You get back. Your place is probably one of the few that didn't, get any damage or whatever, or any major damage. And that's because you are very much so covered. You are very, very, very much so covered. You are deemed and esteemed in greatness. You've been like that. You've been like that for a very, very, very long time. You don't just take somebody's word for it. You don't. You'll be like, okay, let me go and look into that. You will. Sometimes all it takes is a quick Google search. Some people are just lazy; they don't want to do that. But you'll probably just go to the library, check out books. You'll do Google searches. You'll deep dive into the internet on this particular topic. You'll go to people who know what it is that they're doing, what they're talking about. Because you have these instincts about you that set you apart. That really and truly set you apart from the rest. Even if you could be surrounded by people that could pick it up in a day, but the long run of the journey, you're gonna last because maybe within you, maybe it just takes you a little longer to learn. Like for me, um, I know, for me, it takes me a little longer to like learn. So, my long term memory is amazing. Short term, not so much. So if I study and study and study, I'll pick it up and I'll get it. And once I have it, I have it. We all yep, always been different. And that's the beautiful thing about it, man. That's the beautiful thing about it. You being caught up in grace, and you having all of this amazing power, you know, around you and within you, and the scales. It's amazing, like in your life, how these scales are balancing. It's very much so, tried and true. It's almost like it's a foregone conclusion that you're elevating, that you're going. It's almost like a foregone conclusion that you're elevating, and that you're rising up, and that you're going off to bigger and greater things, and it's, you keep pushing, you keep moving, you keep growing, and you understand your truth. You know, you understand what it is that you understand the mission. You know, I'll just say that you really and truly understand the mission. You understand that, okay, cool. Some days I have to rest, you know, but other days, you know, that you need to keep putting in work. You need to keep, you know, it's like something within you. It's like you have these you have these unimaginative ideas that are just miraculous, and when people see them, and when people see you, you know, when you put your stuff out now, it's gonna really blow people away. You know, it's really and truly gonna blow people away. You know, you're not just you're not just someone who just says, oh, you know, I'm gonna write a book and put it out, and you know, blah 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 blah. You're you're a destiny maker. You're someone who really goes out. You change lives with your words, how you speak. It's just something. It's just some. You know, you're a cut above the rest. It is just something very much so. It is just something like. It is just something very much so about you that is just point blank. That is just amazing, man. It is just really and truly amazing. And you know, just saying like, moving forward, the sky is more than just the limit for you. It is. You know. And you have no like the amount of it's like the amount of spiritual resources that have been pushed forward, pushed through over your life. You were man, it would really and truly it would like sensibly blow you away if you truly knew if you truly knew how you know God if you truly knew how God purposely positioned all of these things, you know, around your life. You know, it's like the people who are going to be reaching out. It's I remember, you know, the people that are going to be reaching out to you is really and truly going to be mind blowing. So I feel like there's a shift coming in your life where you're not um you're not going to be the reacher, you're going to be the reached. Like you're not just going to be like sitting there, you know, you're honestly, you know, not just going to be sitting there like trying to, you know, reach out to people. People are it's going to flip. And people are going to be I see a hand. I see this hand, but people are going to be reaching out to you, you know, for your knowledge, your expertise, your talent, whatever that is. You're going to be sitting in some amazing rooms. You know, you really and truly are. You're going to be sitting among some very powerful, influential key people. And you have people who are coming in your life that could change your life with a keystroke. I'll say that again. They can change your life with just you know with just a few keystrokes. You know, and it's just man, it is just you know, but it's like your diligence. All of this stuff is it's like you just showing up, you just you know doing whatever it is, you know, it's like whatever it is that you did that you continue to do. You know, you're in these amazing, glorious seasons where moving forward, you're going to have so many more ideas about so many more great things. Be it if you are whatever it is that you're doing. You know, if you're an inventor, if you're some kind of an artist, or you know whatever it is. How, if you're an entrepreneur or someone who's in business, there are going to be so many beautiful ideas that are there are going to be so many like beautiful ideas that are going to be like literally gifted to you, like just like you know just placed in your lap. like seriously placed in your lap, and it is going to be just nothing but profound how you're just able to move forward. And you're breaking free now. That's the thing. You're it's not breaking free, but almost like you're um oh, I didn't even hit the live thing on here. Hold on, well, but it's not necessarily how it's not necessarily that you broken free, but it is just the fact that you just have like this amazing new lease on your life. So much, you're going to be getting. It's almost like the you're going to be getting all of these powerful downloads into your system. So have something around where you can write these things down. I'm also getting I'm also getting the what's going on, Miss Audacity? How are you? So I'm also getting the joys of your system, how you calculate things. It's almost like it's almost like your ancestors, your spirit guides move before you. I'm gonna say this. This is bigger than any church. You're a part of something. You're a part of almost like a new spiritual revolution, so to speak. It's almost like the board has to be clean. It's almost like the board has to be cleaned and cleansed, and you're moving forward to. It's almost like you're moving forward to something like so much more powerful. In and around your life. It's like there's so much that's going to be poured into you. You're moving forward to something like uniquely more powerful. Not worried about the old stuff, not sweating the small stuff, but moving forward and enjoying every moment, knowing that everyone is not going to be some people are going to be blown away by your success. I will say that a lot of people, well, I'll say a lot of people are going to be blown away by your success. You have a unique way of speaking. You have a unique way of being able to talk and handle people, and they don't know that you can read their thoughts, their emotions, that you have all of these amazing dynamic spiritual gifts. That's the powerful thing. That's the thing that's how you walk in your truth, and that's how you are going to continue. Oh, you know what? Sometimes I forget. Yeah. So myself and Miss TJ Inspires, we are authors. Check out the book, Soul of a Man: Portrait for the Mind, Body, and Soul, and also Princess Destiny and Her Magical Hair, book for little girls and their natural hair, their self-esteem of all ages, all walks of life. You can get this book at www.soulofaman504.com. This book can be purchased at www.tjinspires.com. So the books are out there ready. We have more stuff coming out. So, so yeah, so we'll be talking about that soon. But yeah, man, there's just so much that is coming. So much that has been broken away from you. And that stuff really there's so much that has been broken away from you. That stuff really and truly needed to go. You're coming to the point where you're not going to have to stop what you're doing. And you know how on this journey, a lot of us have to work. And especially if you're bankrolling yourself for what the higher stuff that you're trying to do. But the yeah, so a lot of us, some of us are just really and truly bankrolling ourselves, but it's going to come a time very soon where you're not going to have to. There's going to come a time very soon where you're not going to have to stop and just work, and it's like, well, I got to go back to work, make some money, pay bills. It's like You're going to have like these stream, the streams of income. Think bigger, go. I'm getting think bigger, go larger. Think bigger, go larger. Because you're set up for that now. You're really and truly set. Everybody's not going to get it. I get that. I understand that. Everybody's not going to get that. But you're purposeful, and I'm telling you, you're going to see amazing changes this year. But you have to continue. You have to continue to push to put yourself out there. You have to continue to do. Like I said, things are going to shift where you have so much grace around you. You have no idea. But sometimes you just have to naturally ask for it. That's all That's all you have to do, because you're a constant believer. You continue to pray. What's going on, Miss Bayou Diva? Up on this thing all early in the morning. But yeah, so you're constantly to be commended. You are morning. So you're constantly to be commended by everything that you do. You figure it out. It's almost like it's almost you have this mentality like this. You're like you're not an armchair quarterback. You're actually somebody who can be put in the game, and you can be used in so many different facets. It's almost like you know all the plays, you know the players, you know the schemes, you know the routes, you know where to put the ball at. You know where to you know yourself, your arm, all of that stuff, man. You know how to implement things. You know how to shift it. You really and truly know how you really and truly know how to shift stuff and to make things purposeful, make things happen for you. You really and truly know that you have something. You have a birthright. You have something of a miracle that is inside of you. Something that I'll say something that you might have never even thought of. You're like, oh, me, yeah. Yes, that's why you have been. Um, that's why things in your life shift. That's why things in your life have come to this moment. You're gonna think like, man, you know what? I never thought it could happen for me. I never thought it could happen to me. I never thought it could happen like this. Having that no nonsense. That's why these things are gonna happen for you. You know, that's why these things. And thanks for tapping the screen. That's why these things are amazingly and abundantly going to happen for you. Like these uh, shifts, miracles, whatever your goals are going to be met. That's why it's going to go from you reaching out and all of this stuff, you being the face of what it is that you're doing, to people reaching out to you, asking you to what it is that you're doing for yourself to go and help them, in their lives and all of that stuff. So, and you have that mentality. You have the mentality to be a game changer. You really and truly do. Okay. These are. Let me see if I can show you this card. See, this is all of the opportunities that are surrounding you. Sometimes you just have to feel it out. These are all of the things that are coming. Like that little song, wedding fans that flip. So things are about to flip. Things are really and truly about to flip in your life. And this is my ancestors deck. So I don't pull this out a lot, but anyway, yeah. So things are really and truly about to flip in your life. Like seriously, like full transparency, 360. Wow, I can't believe that this is my life. You know, based off of all of that you have been through, you are owed a lot. You're gonna get a lot. You're gonna have access to some amazing things. Brands. You're. It's like a guy said. You're a game changer. You're not an influencer. You're influential. That's who. Big change. Big um, big discrepancy in that. Big discrepancy in between a influencer, somebody who you just see on the screen, somebody who's influential. Somebody who's influential is a game changer. That's you. Like For you, it's a whisper in the wind. Just a, you're gonna have that kind of stroke, so to speak. You're gonna have that kind of influence where you're somewhere, you just point somebody out, their life changes automatically. You know, like really and truly, it's like their life is just gonna flip. It's like yeah, but the gratitude, you living the high, fulfilled, desired life that you always wanted without buying anybody's course or whatever. people are going to be people are going to be very much so blown away by you. They are. It's almost like for you a new star is born, so to speak. It's like so much. You have so much power within you. You have so much. Let's say life and death is in the power of the tongue. So today we're talking about surrounded by lies, but living in your truth, because we know we live in a world of lies. You know what I mean? The stuff what you think you're seeing, you're not seeing. You know what I mean, so to speak. But anyway, so I'm getting, you're a national level talent, moving into something that is prolifically global and golden. You're going to be able to start a shift, even for other people that come behind you, for them to even eat. And you never even, it's almost like you never even like tried to, you never even thought of that concept. It's almost like a big wave that comes and affects not just you, but the people, just all kind of different people. So people are going to be able to just like eat off of like what it is that you're being able to put out there. New ideas, new ideals, move forward with what it is that you have. Um, they still like a thief in the night, so be quiet. Be quiet. You know how you moving forward. Be quiet and be quiet in how you move in these seasons. Things are going to feel very relevant and be very relative to you very, very, very soon. So you're going to be able to cash in. You're going to be able to cash in. It's almost like you're going to be living this life. Remember that? I don't know, that old show, Family Island? It's almost like your old self is going to be pointing up saying, the plane. Like you just always traveling, you always going somewhere, you always having something going on. Like, man, you going where now? You just came back from such and such. You're gonna be like, and I know. Look, I know how. You're gonna be like, bro, what you all in my business for? Like for real. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very much so. Influential. You're going to be branded as the new, almost like the new celebrity in a sense. Coming towards the light at okay, coming towards the light. So you got your resurrection coming in. So you're rising, getting the three heads, the Hecate. If you deal with her, but like being able to sense, being able to, I get a seal, man. I see a seal. I see a seal over your life. You have this angel card. I see this seal over your life being poured in. Like right in the Nile. So people, people have tried to deny you, um, but when these people come back, it's going to be like, it's almost going to be like biblical, in a sense, because it's almost going to be like you, it's almost like they denied you, or they denied knowing you. But it's what Martin said on thing. He said, hey, he said, boom, when I blow up, you blow up. So they gonna think like they gonna have an easy ride on, riding your coattails. Oh yeah, man, me and such used to do. They gonna try to get back into your good. They're really gonna probably people doing that now. They're gonna try to get back into your good graces, but you know those doors are gonna be slammed shut, locked, and all of that stuff. So they're not going to be able to get close to you this time. I'm also getting I surrender all. So you know a lot of the weight, you know, you're changing seasons. You're really and truly changing. You're changing seasons into the now, even into the month of July. You know, where you see all of these, you know, where you really start to see all of these miraculous things change in your life. It's almost gonna feel like it's overnight. You know, it's because if you feel like, oh, you know, something new, something different is something new, something different is coming in into your life, and something new is really coming into your life, like really and truly. You you have that vision, you have that vision over your life. You know, you do. You know, you have that vision with these new moons that are coming in. Look like there's a full moon like every 2 weeks now, like for real. But you know, you have this vision. When you get when you get these thoughts, these inclinations, and I was saying this earlier, how you're going to start to really feel and get these downloads. And when you get these downloads now, you're going to feel refreshed because it's not just what is to come in. You know, this just isn't for you, but this is for the the godlike, amazing, miraculous things that are going to be happening. You know, all of these shifts all at once in your life over time and over a lifetime. I feel like there's an angel walking around. I feel like there's an angel walking around, like ringing some kind of bell, like ringing, almost like ringing the alarm. What time is it? Okay, almost like ringing the alarm. Yeah, that you're going to you have power, man. It's almost like, you know, you've been working out and you got like muscles now. You know, it's almost like you're transforming yourself. You know, like they used to say in the cartoon, the transform. You know, so now it's time. It's gonna be very soon. It's gonna be time to transform and roll out. You know, where I said where things are going to start shifting. No, world. This thing is weird. Yeah. So where you are going to start shifting. So where you are, you know, they always say don't get too comfortable in where you are. Somebody's going to be starting a very profitable home based business very soon. There's a move coming in your life immediately, probably within the next few months, within this year. That is, and be mindful of people trying to ride your coattails. You know, the fake accounts and all of that stuff like that. People seemingly trying to be you. That's going to look for that. You know, when you start to see that, you know, that's telling you that you're making it, you made it, and you know, and all of that stuff like that. And yeah, and again, thank y'all for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe, folks. But yeah, you're very much so a diamond in the rough. You're triumphing into something amazing. Into, you know, I get there's a lot of travel. Feel like there's a lot of travel coming in for you, but people aren't going to be. There's a lot of motherly love. There's a lot of motherly love around you also. Lot of motherly love coming in. Those praying grandmothers. You know, the that probably people that you haven't even met yet are, well, you know, a lot. Well, yeah, a lot of traveling. A lot of those praying grandmothers. A lot of those grandfathers. You know, like the old school dudes. You know, who used to just go out and get it, and would bring back the bacon. So you know, so she could fry it in the pan. You know, like that old. You got that old school love, man, coming through. Like that old school energy. Your ancestors are tilling those fields. You know, just for you. Like really and truly. You know, you're gonna be worth every penny. Like every, well, I'll say this: everything that you've gone through. Well, I'll say everything that you've gone through is going to be worth every penny, every penny. You know, it's time for you to get yours. It's time for you to get yours, and I mean uh like that commercial JG Wentworth 877 cash down. So it's you're gonna be able to cash out very 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 soon. Like getting you ask not for you ask not for you have not. So start asking. Um, what did Jesus say? Yahshua would say, if he said something, everything is done through me and through to the Father. But if you ask it in my name, you'll have it. So yeah, so there you go. But it's time for these fever pitch breakthroughs. Your faith your faith took you through long enough. So now you're moving to the seasons of seeing is believing. There you go. So moving forward, you're moving to these. You're moving to seasons where you're moving to where
it's 10 o'clock.
Thank you, computer. You're moving to where it's like seasons are believing. So let me go ahead and shut this down. Yeah, so you're moving, you're really and truly moving to the point where seasons are believing. Things are going to start to, you're the stronghold. You stood strong for so long. It may be someone who tries to come back and X or something like that, but you know how that goes. Um, once again, don't make the same mistakes twice. Do not. I'm just gonna say it again. Do not make the same. And thank y'all so much for tapping the screen. Don't make the same mistakes twice. If you had a kid with somebody and you know how that is. That could be 18 years of not blaming the child, but you got yourself in a situation. Don't let it happen again. Cause no, you don't want that to happen. Not now, and not in a season. Um, it's almost like these people come through like viruses, and they try to corrupt your system. They try to corrupt your life, and it costs you a lot. You do not have time to waste. Not now. Moving forward, you do not. Say it again. We watch these things on here, and some of the stuff you can't believe. Like the girl at McDonald's and going back and what she did, and I don't know. There were several things I saw on social media over the last few days. The dude in Chicago, he took like this, he yeah. People are out here, man. They're doing. Whew, the people say they're doing the most, Lord. But anyway, but you have a wave of success. You also have a trip coming up soon. You're gonna find yourself on a very nice island, just chilling and relaxing. Like Will said, Maxie relaxing all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of school. Serious, man. You're gonna be like your own fresh prince, own fresh princess, enjoying what it is that you enjoy. But all right, folks, I'm gonna go ahead on and shut this down. Go and do what I gotta do for the rest of this Monday. Get myself prepared for the week. Am I coming on tomorrow? If I do, it'll be early in the morning. But yeah, I'll come on tomorrow. It'll just have to be early in the morning. But all right, y'all. Y'all have a great week. Thank y'all for hanging out, and catch y'all on the flip side. Don't forget to subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.